Hey writer friends, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I will be showing you how to use querytracker.net to find literary agents. If you're new here, my name is Holly. I'm a writer aspiring to be a published author. If you haven't already, please give this video a big thumbs up and click subscribe to support my channel and ring that bell so you don't miss any videos. I'm super pumped because I will be showing you in real time, for me, how to use querytracker.net, and I will be showing you how I search for literary agents. So right now I'm building my agent list for A Bar Girl's Riddle because I want to be traditionally published. So I need to find literary agents that would be a good fit for me and my manuscript. So I had a whole list of literary agents for the Celestial Code, but I want to make sure that these agents are still going to be a good fit for my middle grade because the Celestial Code was YA. And so I'm going through that list and seeing, are these agents still a good fit? Do I still want to work with these agents? And also, sadly, are these agents still around? Because sometimes they're not. But in any case, this will be kind of like a real-time thing because I will be pulling up my screen share and showing you how I use querytracker.net, what I look for, and the statistics that I specifically am searching when I'm looking for a literary agent, and how I navigate the website. And then also you can see like how I kind of organize my agent list. So this is going to be super exciting, and I hope it's going to be helpful for you. Now let me know in the comments down below, are you looking to self or traditionally publish, maybe a hybrid and be both? Okay, so I'm going to pull up my screen share here and show you first my agent list, and I've already been researching a couple different agencies, but I've got one that I'm going to show you how I navigate that today. So let me pull that up for you. Okay, so this agency is the agency that I'm going to be researching next, and it is the Triada US Literary Agency. And so this is how I organize my agent list. And this is actually old, so I'm going to delete this, but I always said if they were more or less experienced, which just meant did they have a lot of clients or not. So that was kind of that, but that's a long time ago. I will be putting new information down for that. But usually how I organize this is I put the agency name, and I know I could do an Excel spreadsheet. I like using the Word documents. I don't know, the Excel spreadsheet, I can't see everything is clear. I just like this a lot better. It worked for me when I was querying the Celestial Code, so I'm gonna keep doing that for A Bar Girl's Riddle. So I like to put the stats that are super, super important. So can you query more than one agent in that agency? Are they, for sure going to respond to you? Or if you haven't heard from them in 2 weeks, is that considered a rejection? Or are you able to nudge the agent if you haven't heard from them in their designated time frame? So I like to put all of that information there. So for the Triada US Literary Agency, it says if we haven't responded after 2 weeks, we've not received your query. Do not simultaneously query multiple Triada agents. Please query one and wait for their response before moving on to another agent within our agency. We strive to keep our response time one of the fastest in the industry. On average, we respond to submissions in 1 week. So this was way back when I researched them last year for the Celestial Code. And so I'm going to research and see, is this still a thing? Because sometimes their things could have changed. But yes, if we haven't responded after 2 weeks, we haven't received your query. On average, we respond to submissions in 1 week. So that's kind of what I look at first place. So everything's still the same, so I can keep that information. And then when I go back to my agent list, let's see where that is. Here we go. Lauren Spieler was one of the agents that I was interested in. So I'm going to head back over to the agency website and go to agents. Okay. And so what I usually do, but just for time's sake, I won't do it, but what I usually do is I will go through all of the other agents because there might be a new agent in the agency or an agent that I had queried at first that is no longer there. So I always like to have an updated list, but I'm gonna go to Lauren Spieler. Since I love her so much, but I'm going to see if she would still be a good fit because I know she was for the Celestial Code. So good. She is seeking middle grade and young adult fiction. So she is still looking for middle grade. She's drawn to heartfelt contemporaries, fantasy, sci-fi, and exciting adventures. Awesome. A Bargo's Riddle is a fantasy and adventure story, so that stays within that. And she wants a query letter and the first 10 pages with the word query in the email's subject line. So usually when I decide like, okay, these are the agents I'm going to query right now, then I will go back and just like double check everything that I wrote down. So that's what I'm going to do. And then I'm going to put that under here. All right. She also has a manuscript wish list. So usually I will also look on manuscript wish list. So if you guys want a video of me like going on manuscript wish list, going on Publishers Marketplace, because those are all the other places that I will look to as well to research this agent. So I won't go through that right now, but if you want more of these like query agent research videos, let me know and I will include that. But so let's go ahead and let's just go into querytracker.net because that's why you guys are here. So here is querytracker.net, helps authors find literary agents. I love this website. It is such an invaluable tool for querying authors. So you can find literary agents and find a whole slew of information. So I'm gonna show you like what I look for. And there's like so much other data that you can explore. So go ahead and like, you know, just like look and research this to your heart's content, but I'm gonna show you specifically what I am looking at. And so it's $25 for a yearly subscription, which is super affordable, you guys. It's awesome. So I'm gonna search for an agent now. And then in the search, so you can either search by agency or agent. I'm gonna search by agent. And so the first thing I look at, because sometimes it's not on their website, but it says here, are they open to queries? So right now it says she's open to queries. If they're not, it'll be like a, what's that called? Like the universal no sign, which is the red circle with the slash in the middle. So thankfully she is open to queries right now, but obviously also when I am ready to query, because right now I'm crafting this list, but by the time I start querying, maybe she will be closed. So I always make sure to double check everything. Even though I'm doing this initial research, I still do the research kind of all over again, essentially. But right now she's open to queries and she's accepting them via email. So I'm gonna click on her name and making sure that everything's right. Yes, she's from the Triada, I don't know if it's US, that's what I'm assuming, a Triada US literary agency. So right here you see she has a reply rate of 77.7, which is really good because some agents don't really reply at all. And then it shows where you can find them everywhere. So she is on Publishers Marketplace, which just gives more detailed information about like the books she has sold and things like that. She has looked at PitMad, MSWL, and obviously, as we saw, she's on the manuscript wishlist website. The first thing that I'm going to look at is her clients. And so here we can see, hey, like maybe way back when I said she wasn't experienced, maybe she only had like 1 or 2 clients, but since then she has quite a few clients. And so what you can do is you can like click on this name and then you can see what books are by this author. So you can see what sort of books the agent is selling, what she's looking for in manuscripts because of the her clients. So we can, you know, look at like Wendy Hurd, and sometimes it always doesn't work. Sometimes it's not up there because maybe they have a client, but they haven't sold a book yet. So then you can kind of dig deeper more into, you know, looking at what this book is about. And then that could be a good way to cater your query letter to that agent and say, you know, this is one of your clients. I have books that are in a similar vein to this client that you have that has shown success, things like that. So that's a good way to personalize your query letter and stand out among the slush pile. So I like to like dive deep into that. And then the next thing I look at is reports. So this is like one of the biggest things that I want to see is their query response time, because when I am crafting my, you know, query agent list and seeing who I want to query first, I try to query the people who respond the fastest, so I can gauge, do I need to tweak my query letter? Do I need to tweak my opening pages? I want to know as soon as possible. So in that first initial batch of queries that I send out, I don't want to send it to, 10 people that take 3 months to respond, or if you don't hear a response from them, that means they're not interested. So you just don't know, have they gotten to your manuscript yet? Have they gotten to it and they're not interested? You don't know. So this is like one of the biggest things. So there are so many other things you can see, but let's go to the query response times first. So there is an all-time one. Usually I start at the previous 30 days. And as you can see here, positive responses, her average response time is 3 days. And her slowest response time is 17. So usually I look at the average because sometimes the fastest and slowest response times are vastly different. It could be like 1 day and like 30 days. So I like to look at the average. And then the negative responses these are a little bit faster. But the average response time is still 3 days. The online form, that would be if they're using Query Manager. But she only has the email. So what I'm going to do then is pull this information. And so usually I like to be positive, and I will choose the positive response time as my average. So I'm gonna go in here and say 3-day average. And to me, I know that that means a 3-day average response time. And you can look at the previous 90 days, 6 months sometimes. A couple of the agents that I was researching, especially with kind of, pandemic stuff going on, like some people literally have nothing. They're kind of like on a hiatus too. So then I go to the previous 90 days because it'll give me a better picture, because literally there's no data for the previous 30 days. But you can also go to the query rejections and see, so did they have a helpful rejection? Was it a form rejection, or was it a neutral rejection? And so you can see that too. So she either gives helpful rejections or like a neutral rejection. You can also see the manuscript word count. So, so for example, she rejected 2 manuscripts that were 70,000 words and requested more from 2 that were also 70,000 words. And so you can kind of see, like the higher up, the higher word count, the more rejections. So that might be something. Now these that are 50 and below might be middle grade, which makes sense. And then these might be YA, higher up. So you can look at so many things. And so for this positive reply, it says here, any response from an agent requesting a partial, full, or a book proposal. And then, okay, so let's go here. Obviously her fiction genres. Okay, so then we see, yes, probably those 2 that were 50K or less were middle grade. And so you can see like, is she taking a lot of middle grade, young adult, she's not taking this and this right now. Maybe she's not as into that. So you can get a clue into that. So there is a slew of information here. You can also go to, so here's this data explorer, and that goes into further detail into the manuscripts. So usually these are people that are putting in their information into querytracker.net. So these people are showing, this was a young adult, 100 to 110K, and they queried her on July 5th. And then you will see here information whether they replied, when the reply date was, and so then it gives you an average response time. So you can see here this young adult manuscript, she queried her on June 28th, and then the agent requested a full manuscript on the same day. And so there was no wait period, which is awesome. Like that's super fast. So you can this gives you an idea as to like, am I gonna hear from this agent right away? Is this agent going to reply to me at all? How long will it take? It'll just give you a good idea so that you can build like who you want to query first and when, and set yourself up for success in that way. So much information that you can see here. This is how you're going to craft your agent list so that you can set yourself up for success and find the right agent for you and your book baby, and hopefully, find a literary agent and get published. All right, you guys, so that's it for this video. Thank you so much for joining me. This is how to use querytracker.net to search for literary agents and how I use querytracker.net to find agents. Let me know in the comments down below where you are in your querying or publishing journey. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!